if you really care about the planet, then you need to look in the eyes of your hyper individualism. This is where you don't want to get help from other people. This, I want to propose, is a fairly modern idea that capitalism has brought along, because for all of history up until recent times, we depended on each other. You still depend on other people, lots of other people, for your life, for your existence, for your food. I did not make this car. I sewed this dress, but I didn't sew this top. I didn't make these earrings. I didn't do my own dental work. I didn't design my own contacts. We need other people, and we need the planet. We need it all. But when you are constantly refusing help, you are perpetuating the evils, if you will, of capitalism. I don't really want to use the word evil, but it's all I can think of right now. If you care about the planet, part of that self-care is also going to benefit you by letting people help you, by working with others. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, they might not do it right. Yes, it's going to be messy and awkward. However, we need to flex the muscles and learn how to do it again. This is one of the benefits of like the sharing economy, or things that some industries do, where there's this full circle effect. This is why I buy local. It's easier to buy local and see the literal effects of my money goes to support other fellow business owners that I meet. If I go into Walmart or Staples or any of these other big box stores, Lowe's, yes, I will interact with other people there who are employed, and yet the money that I spend, the money that you spend in those places, you never know how that benefits anyone. I think the statistic is somewhere along the lines of like, it's less than 10%, like 1 to 4% of money that you spend in a big box store stays in your economy. In contrast, and there are different numbers I've seen from this, if you spend money on a local business, a local farm, a local coffee shop, a local dance studio, a local clothing store, a local restaurant, you get the picture, a local alteration shop that alters your clothing, that money, 38 to 54% of it stays in your local economy. And one of the things that makes a difference about your local economy, if you think of this, I always think about the environment in terms of circles. So start thinking about it in circles. If your local economy is healthy, even if you don't actively need a job from your local economy, it still benefits you. It impacts housing prices. It impacts schools. There are so many things that it impacts. It impacts the well-being and the happiness of all of the people around you. When I have lived in places where the economy wasn't great, or it was what I would call like a very limited economy, there were only 2 or 3 main careers in that region where people were making money and everyone else was scraping by, it really affected the way that people interacted, their mindset, their outlook. And I noticed when I moved away from that, my outlook immediately got better because I was living in a place with a better economy. All of the sudden, I didn't have to try to see options all over the place. There were just more options available. So, our best successes are when we model after systems that nature has created over thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Those work. They don't just work for humans, they work in many other ways because we are nature too. And so if you look at natural systems, you can think about the circle, you can think about the interconnection of things. Things rely on other parts of the system to coexist. Nature, it doesn't create waste. The waste then becomes a product that becomes something else somewhere. This is I should make another video about composting, because that's one of my big passions. And look, I'm not going to critique the whole waste that we create right now, because that again would be a whole nother video. But you trying to do everything yourself in your life and saying no when people want to help you, or never asking for help, you're setting yourself up for a stifled, unsustainable position that is harder for you. And I understand there is this discomfort that many, many, many people have. Oh, I don't want to ask for help. Some of us, and I know many people who this fits with, they had to develop this hyper individualism for survival. It was also a lot modeled by their parents, because that was what that generation needed to get by. We have the ability through all of these tools of communication to see how this hyper individualism is driving us into the ground. It's driving the planet into the ground. It doesn't serve us. And the benefit of everything being connected, systems of oppression, environmental degradation, capitalism, the benefit of all of these things being connected is the more that you start making shifts, the more there is this ripple effect. If we have the whole country, the whole world, the whole populace, or even just a 10%, 20%, 30% making these little shifts, the ripple effect of that pans out. A mass of somewhere between 20 and 30% can impact the whole collective. And so we don't need everyone to make these changes and have the aha right away. So you making little changes to stop being hyper individualistic, to start asking others for help in ways that you can, to start, looking at your local circle, thinking of it as like concentric rings. There's you, which is your body. There's you, which is your home or the land or apartment or wherever you live. And then there's your small community, those closest to you. Looking at those circles that you have, where are the ways that you could invite others in, that you could do life with others in some way or another, that you could expand so that you can help and they can help. And I understand if you're in a survival, stressful situation, it can be very hard to help others when you yourself feel like, wow, I'm barely doing this. I have been in those situations, and I still also know, and studies back this up, that helping other people creates more capacity. It creates happiness and energy and excitement in you. And so there are multiple ways that you can just start doing subtle things to lend your neighbor something, help out with somebody, help out a friend, ask them for help. The more that we can break down acting like asking for help and being in community with others is a weird thing, the better we're going to be able to meet all of the experiences coming up. Because, yes, there are some big changes on the horizon because of all of these systems shifting, because of some of these systems reaching their natural breaking point. And I'm talking about human systems and structures, but also the planet is having a lot of shifts because of all of these dynamics. We're going to need to be resourceful. We're going to need to have community to connect, to work together, to have great solutions. You're experimenting with what are the ways that you can comfortably start asking for help and or giving help. You might need to pick whichever one is probably the most difficult for you and start doing it in small ways. Start looking at how can you participate in things like a mutual aid, like helping others so that it increases the health or sustainability and connections in your group. This might not look like a huge change right away, but it has a massive effect on your consciousness and on those around you.